Welcome to the Blonde Runner podcast with Coach Lora Erickson, where she shares her healthy living tips as a running and triathlon coach and mother of 4.
Hello, Coach Lora Erickson here, and I wanted to talk about the practice of showing gratitude. I read a lot, and it seems like most of the stuff that I read about, I like to read about successful people, what makes them successful, and I find it interesting. One of the common traits that they have is that they're grateful, or they have a lot of gratitude. I know for me, I've kept a gratitude journal for several years now, but I noticed a whole, like a mindset shift for me. When I started keeping a gratitude journal, I started looking for the positive in my day. And I actually keep a physical journal that I write in, and I also have noticed I've been doing it on a daily basis throughout the day and before bed. So I'll review what things came into my life that were positive that day. So that's been huge, and I think that's a really good thing. It's nice to think about it, but actually writing it down and reading it has made a great, like a shift in my mind. I think it gives me like more hope. It helps me to see what went well. Even in a hard day, I'm able to maybe flip a hard situation into a good experience, or well, I guess I can learn from that. You know, if you get in an accident or something, there's something to be grateful for. There's something to look for that's positive. So I would encourage you, even if maybe you don't have a journal, you're not starting a journal, but maybe documenting something. I think our phones now can do great little notes, and that's a really good thing to do. I came across a quote, and I wanted to read it. I love quotes, and it said, "Gratitude blocks toxic emotions such as envy, resentment, regret, and depression, which can destroy our happiness. It's impossible to feel envious and grateful at the same time." And that was by Robert Emmons. I agree with that. I posted that not too long on Facebook to see what people thought about that idea of, is it really impossible to feel envious and grateful at the same time? And I would say yes. I would say when you are feeling grateful, it just comes from a place of abundance. And I know for some that envy or feeling jealous or those kind of feelings are really from a comparison, and usually from a place of somebody taking something from someone else, versus when you have a real grateful heart and you show a lot of gratitude, it's coming from a place of abundance. So there is plenty to go around. There's lots to share, and I think when you have kind of that grateful heart, it's hard to really be envious. And I feel like in my life, I don't really feel like I'm missing too much. I feel like, I don't really need a fancy house. I don't really care if I have a fancy vehicle. I just want to get from point A to point B without like breaking down, I guess. And I just look at all the little small things in my life, and it just makes the things that I have enough. And I that's one of my favorite quotes, actually, is gratitude turns what we have into enough. And I think that's true. So I think this is the time, we've had a lot of challenges with COVID and mental health and people not feeling as happy. I think we feel very doomsday, and everybody's dying, and they are. And you have to still acknowledge that those things happen, but there's always a flip side. There's always something good coming out of it. I know, even with this COVID thing, look at my husband's a teacher, so he had to put a lot of his stuff online, and it's actually made it easier. So when he has a sub or something, they can get that taken care of way, way better. And I know a lot of things have become more efficient because of that as well. So there's always something good to come out of our experiences. If we're looking for the good things, we're actually becoming mindful, and we're finding them more. Gratitude does that. It also helps you recognize and acknowledge the goodness. I think there's one thing to actually acknowledge the goodness in our mind, or see the good things in our day. I think going through the process of actually writing it down kind of takes it a step further. It allows us to really kind of live in that positive emotion or relish that experience, which gives us more hope. I mean, I think a lot of people struggled with a lot of this, being inside and masks and things. And if we can, because it was negative emotions, if we can find a way to live in a more positive sense, and this is an easy way, in my opinion, to do it, is for looking for those positive things and actually going through the physical process of writing it down. There was actually a study done, I read, at Berkeley, and they had some certain people actually write gratitude notes, and they noticed that it activated their medial prefrontal cortex. And I'm no brain surgeon, or I don't know everything about the brain, but I know that you can activate different parts of your brain that bring those positive emotions. If you do these kind of things, you actually go through the process of writing things down and looking for things, and it improves your self-worth. I mean, you can look at gratitude, go and search, and you'll find how much it can help. I think another thing that comes from being grateful is, to be grateful, you really have to show humility, for realizing that, you have something that you can be grateful for. And I think that's a good characteristic. As I was looking through different materials and articles, I wanted to make sure I covered this how I wanted to. And I ran across these 6 core values that I wanted to just touch on. And I think these are going to be really great to cover in other podcasts. But one of them is being honest, being humble, being timeliness. I thought that was an interesting core value. Gratitude, and then hard work. I really like the last one because it's all about the doing. I don't know how many times, and this is what I would challenge you to do, but I don't know how many times in my life that I've, noticed that, oh, wow, someone's hair looks really nice, or they've got a cute outfit, and I don't always say something. But I think there's a big difference when you actually step out and say something. Show something that you're grateful for, or something positive that you see, and then you share it with somebody else. It gives you a sense of well-being and reassurance for them. I think caring, showing that we care. I've always liked to, I like the saying that says kindness begins with me. And you can show kindness, and it begins with you, but it also begins with yourself, your own self, and showing kindness and thankfulness and gratitude for yourself and your own qualities and characteristics that you bring to this world or this life, and recognizing those too. So I do encourage you to look inward. See what you're grateful for. Maybe you were patient with your child or something that day. Can you see that as a positive quality that you can write down in your gratitude journal that you're grateful for? You're grateful for, being patient, or for me, it's just being able to be a mom. It wasn't so easy getting kids here for me. So, and if you know about my Race for Grief event, I lost a little baby girl. And so those things, I am grateful for the kids I do have because of that experience even more. But there's always something to be grateful for in every day. And there's a lot of studies been done on gratitude. People that show gratitude and that are more grateful generally are more satisfied with life. And I think the biggest thing is they're looking for it. To be a grateful person, you really are like a half full. The cup is half full. You're looking for the good things, the things that make make life better. You can be that positive for other people that maybe struggle a little more, because I think we all have those days, but it is nice to try to be that positive person most of the time. If you read about this, you'll see you have better sleep. And I will say one of the reasons that I do this before bed is it's the last thing on my mind before I go to bed is the things I was grateful for in that day. And often I'll come up with things. I do like to write it through the day, because when I read it, it's like, oh yeah, that person I did oh yeah, I reconnected with that friend, or they said something really nice to me. And I'll even like type it out. What did they say? Because sometimes I need to hear that again. And you can also be that for you, Sometimes it's okay to pat yourself on the back and say what you've done well. So it does help improve sleep. It helps you regulate your emotions, because what you say to yourself and the script that you're telling yourself is often what gives you those good or bad feelings. And we shouldn't always push bad feelings away. We should feel those feelings. But if we can incorporate better and good feelings into our life, that's going to help our feelings of happiness and having like this positive mood, and also give us hope for the future. Hope is like huge. If you can feel this feeling of hope, you'll have a lot more peace in your day, in the moment that you're in. I'm a big believer in, and I wouldn't say fear. I mean, everybody has fears at times or another, but usually it seems it's related to something in the past or the future. And I know I've talked about this before, but if we can stay present, and being positive, being grateful for what we have right now is being present. If we can stay present, that's more in our control. That's more something we can feel right now. So many times we look ahead at what tomorrow might bring, and we're missing the feelings and the things that are around us right now. So practicing and showing that gratitude is a way we can stay in the now. It reduces your stress. It helps you with like burnout and things like that the humdrum of life. It's like stop and smell the roses kind of thing. So I think it's really important. They also say people that show gratitude or practice gratitude increase in their resilience or their capacity to recover quickly from hardships. And I would agree with that. I think the biggest thing there is it really disconnects us from ruminating, reliving negative experiences. If you are reliving positive experiences, it doesn't leave room for you to ruminate. So you can start feeling those good things and seeing what's happening in your life. Too often on social media, we compare ourselves to, wow, so-and-so is doing this or that, and we often find ourselves becoming maybe envious. And so one of the things if you find yourself maybe feeling like, it's frustrating to see social media, I just really don't have a problem with it. I feel like I love to see what my friends are doing. It's exciting. I'm awesome. They're Boston Marathon. They're doing awesome things. It just encourages me. It lets me see what's possible. So for me, I mean, I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. I don't have to block people. I don't have to, make it so I don't want to see it. I love to see it. It makes me, I don't know, I guess for me, it just comes, I know there's plenty to go around. I can have success like them, and they're kind of paving the way. So I love that. So if you find that you're bothered by some of that, maybe find a little more room for seeing what's going great in your own life and utilize, kind of reliving that. Kind of back to that first quote we went through, gratitude blocks toxic emotions such as envy, resentment, regret, and depression, which can destroy our happiness. And that's true. You don't want to have, we're all going to have moments where we feel those things, but we don't want to live in that, right? It's impossible to feel envious and grateful at the same time. And I believe that's true. If you are really grateful for what you have, you see somebody with a lot too, you're just like, oh, awesome, life is going great for them. And I think that that's a really positive place to live. And I think that's a much better place to be. And maybe it's not always easy. Maybe we do have those feelings. But if we do, maybe coming from it in a way of gratitude. They're not, somebody else's success doesn't make your success any less. You have success as well. So maybe kind of reframing what we're seeing there. And I really do love to see what my friends are doing, and if they're having such great races. And maybe it's a little harder when we're not able to race, or not able to run as much, or we just had shoulder surgery or foot surgery or something. It can be hard. If you listen to my last podcasts, I talk a little bit about that injury and stuff. So sometimes you see people out doing what you can't do, and it might be a little harder there, but also know that there's different seasons in life for different things. I know when my kids were little, I couldn't get out and race as much as I can now. And so there's different times and there's different seasons, and just being patient in that season. And don't look forward so much that you're missing what's right in front of you right now. Like, it really, like, again, gratitude keeps you in the moment. I think that's so healthy to be, and just seeing what is around you and you're so grateful for. I remember once somebody messaged me and said, "You're living the life." And I just thought, it took me aback for a minute, and I thought, you know what, I really am. I mean, I thought, I have kids and I have a family, and I love to do the job that I have, coaching, and, really in your own space and in your own mind, if whatever you're experiencing or having, if you can really be grateful for that, it really is enough. What you have really can be enough. So just some points there, just some things to think about. Gratitude is huge. It just, and showing gratitude and like practicing gratitude. I also like to incorporate this in my meditation. It's kind of like just looking through and seeing what you're happy about. What makes you happy? And I just can't help but smile when I think about the good things in my life. And sure, other people have great things that are happening in their life, and maybe they're not the same as mine, and that's totally okay with me. But what I do have is, if you want what you have, even if it's what you didn't think you wanted, you become like attached to that, and that becomes a good thing. Want what you have, and it's enough. It will be enough, I believe. And always strive for more, always look for more, always see the possibilities there. I think that's healthy too. But be grateful for what you have. There's plenty to go around. There's plenty of success. There's plenty of happy moments. We all have good and bad. It ebbs and flows for everybody. But look for the good, and you'll find more of it in your life. Anyway, hope this was helpful for you. If you like this, please subscribe, maybe favorite this podcast, and share it with your friends. We'd like to grow it as well. And so, anyway, appreciate you guys all listening in. And until next time, live well.